My name is Rohan Albal. I will be speaking slightly quickly. 18 minutes is not a lot, but I'm excited. I have something to share with you. Thank you for having me here, TEDx2. When I got the invitation, I was super excited because it spoke about leap of faith. Take the leap is what people were saying here today too. If you really talk about leap of faith, the thing, the phrase, the adage, leap of faith, it really came into our lives and it has kind of changed my life. Hence, I'm excited to talk about it. It came into my life somewhere in year 2012, which is when I, along with my co-founder, Amit Shetty, we started this brand, this company, this community, the motoring fraternity called Powerdrift. And after 6 long days of meetings with one of our early investors, seed funders, and this basically, I'm talking to all you folks who are wanting to start out with some of your ideas. Yeah, how many people out here want to start something of your own? So my objective is literally, I'm really talking to you, and perhaps I'm talking to your parents about how you could go about it. And this leap of faith phrase then really is going to make itself known to you again and again, every month, every year, if not every day. So one of the early investors, after 6 long days of meeting, I was saying, finally got completely bored with us. I mean, 6 long days of he explaining us how we should go about it, why we should do it. And me and Shetty, we're still having our doubts. We're still very fearful of what we could be doing. What if we go wrong? It can all go horribly wrong. Failure is a real thing as much as success. So take the leap of faith, he said. And then we came back home and still undecided, finally woke up the next day morning and said, we just got to take the leap of faith. There's nothing else more to be done here. Little did I back then understand what I understand today. 8 years later, Powerdrift went on to become India's largest automotive content creator. Today, simply said, it is the biggest video production team creating television commercials, short films, and many other award-winning digital films. But back then, we didn't know that. So the objective of me standing here is, if I can pass this on to you, and what is that? That is a small little hack. Now, this word hack in our generation kind of also paints a different picture. It makes you think that, okay, so there's a shortcut somewhere. I don't mean it. I don't mean the word hack that way, but it's some kind of realization, some kind of awareness that you can really understand. So just imagine, instead of TEDxPVGCOET written here, let's imagine leap of faith written here. Yeah. Now, what do you understand when you really look at leap of faith? What we didn't understand back then, what we now know is, leap of faith is actually nothing else but just a decision, making a decision. Take the leap of faith. Those of you who raise your hand saying you want to be starting something of your own, is it not really just a decision? You're just a decision away, right? So if you really break down leap of faith, demystify it, simplify it, then having this rocket science of a really conundrum of a leap of faith phrase where you don't know, okay, faith, what faith, my faith, your faith, what's a leap, lunar year? It really means you are wanting and in need of making a decision. Now, a young man, must be in his 30s, conquered the whole world and said, nothing is more difficult and hence more precious than being able to decide. Anyone knows who that was? That was Napoleon Bonaparte. And so he understood the importance of making a decision. A decision is very, very important. And that's the leap of faith that we are all here to talk about. Once you know that it's about making a decision, then you're really probably just worried about, how do I make the good decision? How do I make a correct decision? There could be a bad decision. There could be a good decision. So that's the hack that I want to tell you. It's pretty simple. 13 more minutes remaining, and let's see if we get there, yeah? The first thing, if you want to really be sure about taking that leap of faith, is, are you going to be happy doing it? If you're going to be absolutely happy doing it, then I think your major worries are really solved. Go ahead and do it. If you're already doing it, if you're already wasting a lot of time doing it today, let's say you folks, young folks here are students. Let's say you like to play a lot of video games. Any one of you guys here play a lot of video games on your phones? Okay, yeah. Now, how do you know that you are happy playing video games? Most probably because your mom barges into the room and saying, enough. Plugs that whole PowerPoint thing out of your PC. Maybe your friends are not happy with you wasting too much of time gaming. Maybe your girlfriend's not. Maybe your wife is not. I know my wife isn't. But I'm still playing games or doing what I love doing. Now, the if I were to start something new today, I would go and ask myself again, am I happy doing that? And I'm happy if I'm wasting a lot of time, if I'm spending in a lot of hours doing the same thing again and again, then I know I'm happy doing it. Another way of finding out if it's something that you're happy doing, would you do it if someone were to never pay you for it? Or would you continue doing it if you were to never get paid? I think if the answer is yes, then you got that whole box ticked off. So, if you are happy, would it be adding value to someone else's life? And look, I mean, a lot of people are going to say when you're starting out with something, go out there, solve a problem for the society, solve someone's problem. Yeah, sure, we're going to do that. But first we need to solve our problem, our own problem, which is I need to be happy. I need to be doing what I love doing. And second thing you need to ask yourself is it adding any value to anyone at all? Maybe, so for me, in 2012, I asked myself the question, and really the idea was I'm going to sit on a motorcycle and ride it all the time, which is what they said in the intro. And I wondered, okay, what value is it going to add to someone else? And I was pretty content with the answer that it is going to make me a very happy man. So just about these two things, whenever you are about to start with something, and there's going to be a lot of doubt, there's going to be a lot of fear. This one question, whether you are happy doing it every day, is just going to take care of every other shortcoming that you may have. Yes, if you're happy, it's going to be very easy to persevere. Someone's going to come up to you and say, this is not going to work, or you're not the right guy for that. But who cares? Yesterday when I was discussing this idea with one of our, we're 75 of us at Powerdrift now, and I was discussing it with one of our operations guy, and he said, but what if we fail? And I said, but if you're happy doing it every day, why are you worried about failure? Because it just means, since you've failed, that you'd go on doing it all your life until you maybe succeed or whatever the definition is. But that just means you're happy. It's just taking care of every other problem that you can come up with. There are no hurdles if you answer this one question. And then, back then, in 2012, we used to keep asking ourselves, are there any guarantees to taking the leap of faith? You know, leap of faith is a big thing. It probably, yes, it's a decision, but it probably is one of the biggest decisions of your life. And you're always going to wonder, what's the guarantee? What's the guarantee? There's a lot of hesitation. That's why, though, come on, do it. Why don't you do it? Let's do it. Do it together. All these are ways of saying, take the leap of faith. It's most probably a suggestion, a recommendation, an advice or something. But what we are worried about is, what's the guarantee that I will succeed? And this kind of was a problem for us too. Today we look back upon it and have kind of again decoded the whole mystery. I think there are guarantees. I would like to claim and argue that yes, when you take that leap of faith, no matter what decision it is that you are waiting to take, there is a guarantee. Of course, it's a difficult process. How many of you guys who raised your hands saying, yes, you would like to start something of your own, however, did plan to start it today? I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands, but that would be minimal. And that's because it is difficult to take the leap of faith. But then, and it is difficult because we are always found wondering, what's the guarantee? Will it work? Will it not work? I found 2 guarantees in my 8 years of Powerdrift experience. 2 guarantees. There are guarantees. You will be successful. You don't have to be so worried about taking that leap of faith. Just go ahead and do it. What are those 2 guarantees? Number 1 is, if your decision is not yours alone, which means that if there are many people with you on that decision going forward together, it can also mean that you are working in a team, because we are talking about many people being with you on the decision. You see, the key word here is team. Team is a great, great, great guarantee of success. The age and the era of being a great engineer. I've studied engineering, so has Shetty. We left our daily jobs to do this. So the day and the era of a great engineer sitting in the solace of his room, coming up with great designs, architecture, or whatever it is, are kind of over. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but the good thing is because it's an era of teamwork, working together. Have complementary skill sets in the team and then make that decision together, and your chances of failure are far less. You asked for a guarantee. We were talking about a guarantee. This is that one single guarantee that you should be concerned about. For example, if you wanted to be starting a cycle company, yeah, your father probably would be giving you good advice of saying, don't do it. I think from the father's perspective, that would be a great advice because your decision is your decision alone. It's not your father's decision. It could be your father's advice. But if you are kind of with the team thinking that, yes, are you with me? A cycle mart, I'm going to do it. If you find 50 more people out here who are your friends, who think, yeah, let's also open up a web portal and sell cycles there online, or it could just be a shop. You know that there are 50 people on the same boat wanting to take that decision. How can 50 people collectively be so wrong as what you alone could have been? Yeah, that's the point. So one single guarantee that we now know for sure is team. The other single guarantee, or the other guarantee that you want to be concerned about, is the fact that if you're going to take a leap of faith, a decision, you're going to make a decision, then this team that we spoke of is also going to double up as something else. It's going to double up as a mirror. Now, this is one of the biggest learnings that I've had in the last 8 years of Powerdrift, that the team that we put together is actually nothing else but a big, big, big mirror. The moment you start leveraging people around you in an attempt to look for your worst and your best in them, I call it self-improvisation, or improving yourself continuously. Now, that's the other guarantee that we say. Really, folks, in the entire journey of Powerdrift, I would want to take some examples as to how we all continuously, even today, are taking this leap of faith. It happens almost every single day. First off, the first few... So Powerdrift is a video company. It's gone on to become India's largest automotive video company. And, to shoot a video, you're going to need cameramen. They're going to hold cameras in their hand and they're going to shoot with their cameras. And the first few guys that we went to, by the way, both the founders they had not studied media. They were engineers. So it was a leap of faith right there. Then first two guys who were going to hold a camera in their hand, we spoke to them and we liked how they spoke to us. And so we said, come on, let's work. And after maybe 10 days, they came back and say, you know what, we are actually not cameramen, we're photographers, but you are asking us to take videos, It was a leap of faith for them. Today, there is one of the best video editors at Powerdrift who's editing multiple television commercials. He's a guy who left information technology company in Delhi, came to Pune, didn't even know how to operate the software. There are many softwares, Premiere Pro and FCP 10, etc. Now, he doesn't know how to do this, but he left everything that he had there and took a big, big leap of faith. Many such examples at Powerdrift or any other company you will see where people are succeeding because they're making the decision, and nothing is more difficult and hence more precious than to be able to decide, said Napoleon Bonaparte. We know it. But we are always still worried about, is it the right decision? Could I be failing? And so the big takeaway that I want you to go back home today with is, one, ask yourself, will you have fun doing it? I think it's very, very, very fundamentally important. If you think you're doing it for the money, if you think you're doing it to impress someone, if you think you're doing it for your father, for your mother, maybe that's not the right thing to do. It has to be something that you're very happy doing every single day. And then ask yourself, is it adding any value to someone, at least me, myself? And I think that should be fair enough. Of course, don't be happy doing something that has absolute no value at all in this world. And then you are wanting guarantees. There is a guarantee. The first guarantee that you have is, ask yourself, am I alone in this, or will there be more people joining my thought? If there are more people joining your thought, I think it's a fantastic decision. Go ahead and take it. And then ask yourself, the thing is, whatever decision I take today may not be the right decision for me after 5 years. Do you understand this problem? You're going to grow in age and time. And what I decide today, a decision to stay in Pune 8 years ago for me was the right decision, may not be the right decision today, 8 years later. Maybe I need to be in Mumbai or Delhi, or an office in Mumbai or Delhi. So we did. My point is, you have to continuously evolve as a person, and you have to tweak your decisions. To make the decision, you have to listen to the people, but to work for the people, you work with the people to tweak yourself. So self-improving continuously every day, the want to learn something new and all these things, all this becomes very, very important. Your decision today could be a different decision tomorrow for a person who is entirely different, which is you yourself, though, 6 years later, whatever it is. So be in that pursuit of continuously improving yourself. I don't know how you would plan to do it professionally or personally. Maybe you just want to become a better person. You want to become honest. You want to become hardworking. Team, and if you want to become this, these are going to be your guarantees that whatever it is that you want to start today, and I hope you do it, don't waste time. And the fact check of, am I happy doing this? And is it adding any value to anyone at all? Is going to be the only thing that you need to tick off as, okay, I've decided I am going to take that leap of faith. Really, it's no rocket science. Don't worry about it. Now, today, we have different set of investors, fantastic set of investors, great guys. And like the early investor who told us, take the leap of faith, Rohan, and we did. Our today's investors ask us to think big. Again, just like leap of faith, you may have heard it before, but I'd heard think big before. I'd read some books, self-help books that said think big, the art of thinking big. But it is when an investor in an investor meeting, when they say these things, that it really dawns upon you and you wonder, oh, this is something big. So first off, I mean, a great job coming up with this topic, leap of faith, because this is really what is being discussed at investor offices too, or think big. So the current investor says, think big. And every time we are on the verge of thinking big, me and Shetty, because thinking big is going to call upon more resources. It's going to call upon more planning, more risk, more execution. And we find ourselves with that doubt and fear that all of us must be having here today when we go out to start something new. Again, we find ourselves with that doubt and fear. And we find ourselves confronted with the phrase, take the leap of faith. And Shetty and I, we find ourselves again telling each other the same thing that I have shared with you, that we spoke of together here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being so attentive. Take that leap of faith. Think big, whatever it is. Don't be afraid. Think if you're happy. If you're happy, you will never have to work for a single minute on any given day. Thank you so much.